my goodness, y'all. Guess what? I am so excited. Look, I am excited because not only are we in August, but we're getting closer to fall. And that's going to mean no more hot weather. Like, that's something to celebrate. I don't care what anybody says. That is definitely something to celebrate. Whatever. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody had a spectacular week, an enjoyable week. And, guess what? If you encountered some highs and some lows, no problems. We all go through things in life. We're all human. The important thing to know is just not to be stuck in that space. And as long as you're not stuck in that space, you're going to be thriving just as you should be, okay? I just want you to know that. So, y'all know I like to kick off the show with fun facts. Now, of course, all the fun facts are very, 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 very personal to me. They're very dear to me. So a lot of times I just sit back and I just be thinking about stuff like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Why is this invented? Etc. etc. Right? So what is it that I like to do the most besides work? Cook. Like, somebody invented cooking. You know what I'm saying? Somebody invented all these delicious spices. Remember, about 3 months ago, we did fun facts on spices. Somebody created these herbs. We got this nice wood and fire. So, like, how did this all come about? So, I found that to be very, very, very interesting. So, let's jump into our fun facts about cooking, right? Now, check this out, right? Cooking was invented roughly 780,000 years to 1.5 million years ago, when early human ancestors began harnessing fire. Like, just think about that. Like, 1.5 million years ago. Like, food has been good since 1.5 million years. Like, oh my goodness. I could just imagine how the cakes and the cookies and the pies were back then. Like, oh my goodness. So the early beginning, when ancient humans first used natural fire, of course, that's the fire that we burn outside, they was warming the meat and the plants, and that made the food soft, and it also made it safe for them to handle as well as digest. It was easier on the body. Now, archaeologists, they find their findings when it came to how early humans were starting to cook. The first thing that they wanted to show off was a 6.5 foot cart using controlled low temperature heat in the Israel early 780,000 years ago. So when I looked this photo up, oh my goodness, it was breathtaking. It's something that you have to witness with your own eyes. Like, I just can't even tell you the beauty of it, because my eyesight may see something different than yours. Like, I think it's just immaculate. Anyway, the invention, what came after that was when they started inventing the boiling of water, right? So before pottery, humans only roasted and baked food over open flames. So it was no such thing as pot boiling this, and now when I thought about that, I was like, so they didn't eat boiled eggs back then. Like, they didn't have baked macaroni and cheese. No, cheese and macaroni, that's better. They didn't have any of that, because now, you have to boil the noodles al dente or what have you. So now, around 20,000 years ago, hunters in East Asia, they invented ceramic vessels, right? And these vessels allowed the humans to use over the open flames to start boiling stuff like water, and it made it hot. Yes. And so people just invented, like, you could boil this, and it was just no longer roasting or baking. Like, you now had boiling, right? So now let's talk about the plate color, right? You know, originally you only had like a circle white plate, right? That was it. Um, those plates were made white because not only were they safer, but they also enhanced the food taste with like a little sweetener. So it gave it a sweeter taste. And I was just like looking and imagining this, like, OMG, like, I'm so glad I love cooking. Now, here's what I did learn, right? When it comes to onions and potatoes, you can't store onions and potatoes next to each other. And the reason why is because onions, when you store them next to each other, they spoil faster because they make the potatoes spoil faster because the onions release ripening gas. I mean, that's crazy. Like the onion releasing gas and the potato right there, and you can't keep it. So, yeah, I found that very interesting. I've never known that. So, like, yeah, like, I love these fun facts. Like, I hope y'all are enjoying them. If it's something you want to know about and don't want to do the research on, send me a message, give me a phone call. I got you because I love this. So, let's jump into a few announcements. Again, I cannot continue to stress, like, create your IRS ID Me account. That's so important. Create your My Tax Illinois account. That's so important. Like, you really want to know what the federal and state entities are reporting on you. You really want to know what's attached to your name and your social. And, like, keep in mind also, people, we are in the third quarter. We're going to be going into the fourth quarter in a month, and what is that? Another week and a day. So, like, time is flying. It is not waiting on anybody. Now is the time to start scheduling those appointments with your financial advisors, your accountants, your tax preparers, getting on their calendars just so you can be prepared for the closing of 2026 and the opening of 2027. Like, please. So you all are aware that our schedule has went from weekly to bi-weekly because of the holiday schedule. Now, we were a bit thrown off because originally I wasn't supposed to come on until next week. But however, I have some things I have to tend to. So I'm here right now with y'all. Hey, okay. Now, our show is for 60 minutes, but our show can and will exceed sometimes to 75 minutes. If you are unable to stay the entire time, no problem. We just thank you for the love and the support. We thank you for showing up very, very much. Like, please continue. Also, if you are here, share that content, please. It takes a few seconds. You just never know who you're helping, not only publicly, but privately when it comes to their finances, because this is not like a roundtable discussion for a lot of people. So let's get into our birthday wishes. You know, happy birthday to all the August people. I know you're celebrating. Please do it in decency and in order, because that's what's most important. That's being safe, you know. And hey, y'all know I like what? Birthday cake with whipped cream icing or a caramel cake. Okay. So, you know, if y'all get some cake, send it to your girl. But no, happy birthday. Celebrate in decency and in order. As a matter of fact, last week we just celebrated my nephew Champ's birthday on the 12th. My wife's birthday was on the 10th. And my bestie, Christine, birthday was yesterday. I also have a friend of mine birthday all the way in Atlanta, December 25th. And of course, my Barbarette is none other than Project P. Birthday is on the 31st. You all please have a good time, celebrate, and enjoy. This is a new journey, another opportunity, another chance. So, man, turn up. That's all I can say. Now, also, have one more announcement. We are having Friends and Family Day at my church tomorrow. I know this is impromptu, but you follow me and I have been posting it on my story, and I've also been posting it on our business pages. So we will start promptly at 10 a.m. Our address is 5152 South Indiana in the great city and state of Chicago, Illinois. Reverend McClendon E. Porter is our pastor, and Tammy F. Porter is our first lady. So please come out and enjoy, get some of the word, get filled with some of the word, get prayer. Just come out and just have a good old time. Leave your troubles on the throne. We would love to have you. The name of the church is Revival Outreach Ministries International, ROMI for short, so I hope to see you all there. To anyone that is tuning in right now, thank you so much for spending your Saturday with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. I love it so much. Love, 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 love. Sending you much hugs. And if you're tuning in later, stopping by whenever the opportunity presents itself, thank you also just for taking time to just hear the information that we're bringing. Please don't forget to like, love, comment, and share the content. It's so important. Leave us feedback. We do love that. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go right ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com. And you're going to put in Anointed Accounting, which is ANOINTEDACCOUNTING. Yes, yes, yes. So I am the Allure of Abundance, and you all know where you're at. You're at Let's Talk Finance Podcast. And our show today is titled The Business Success Formula, and that includes people, payroll, and smart systems. A lot of times we don't know what's going on with that payroll, right? A water break. No, we don't know what's going on, behind the scenes because of modern technology and the way our society is moving. We look at our direct deposit to make sure it's there. But it's so much more behind the scenes that go on. So we're going to dive into a lot of that information today. Now, if this is your first time here at Let's Talk Finance, I want to welcome you to the family. We are a family here. This is a judgment-free zone. We talk about any and everything under the financial arena if it is going to help you. We do believe in educating you. We believe in breaking down your finances with clarity, with faith, with encouragement, with the understanding of your money. And we do this because we want you to be confident. We want your alignment to align with your purpose, because you have a purpose, right? Not only are you working to survive or tend to monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, daily necessities, you have a purpose, you have a goal. So today's episode again is the business success formula, and that's including people, payroll, and smart systems, right? Now, many entrepreneurs, and I'm one myself, of course, we focus on increasing sales or attracting more customers, right? And we do that because we're building relationships. We're building a foundation, and we're building a network, so to speak, right? We're creating what we call a family. So we can get everything in-house versus going out-house, right? Now, with that, of course, if you have people that are under you and you're running a staff, you definitely want to make sure that your payroll practices are aligning with the proper systems, because you don't want nobody mad at you at payday. And they done did the work, right? So just imagine you doing the work and you're told you can't get paid, or your pay is short and you're expecting this. You're going to be upset, to say the least. Now, here's the thing. Whether you are a sole proprietor operating by yourself and you hire one employee to grow your business, you want to also keep in mind that some of the operations that you may have to implement must be practical, right? And I know that sounds kind of strange, but don't worry, because we're going to get into that today, and I'm going to give you some great examples, right? So let's start with the first topic, right? And our first topic is, and I'm going to work backwards, we're going to talk about smart systems, right? Because you need systems in play. You need protocols in play. You need procedures in play. So we're going to talk about smart systems and the foundation of an early successful business. Now, here's a food for thought, right? A lot of misconceptions, so many that I can't even count. A lot of misconceptions in business is that if you work more hours, you're going to be more successful. So, in other words, I can't work 8 hours and be successful. I have to work 16 or 18 hours a day to be successful. That is a huge misconception. A huge misconception. Now, let's talk about that. And we're going to break that down to you, right? So, the topic and the category for this would be the financial cost of inefficiency. That means that you're just going in there without a plan. You may have a thought, but you haven't analyzed that thought. You haven't broken that thought process down. You see it, you done maybe talk to somebody, you done heard their story. Oh, I grinded. Oh, I did these many hours and look at where I'm at now. And I did these. So that's what you're going off of. And that's okay. But if we could implement a new process to make it easier, I think that's worth trying to do. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about disorganization having a price tag. And a lot of times we fail to understand how, if our company is disorganized, then that's going to be a domino effect to everything that we're doing. Because if your front end is not where it needs to be, nothing can tunnel through how it's supposed to tunnel through. So disorganization, and what does that lead to? That leads to wasted employee hours. Like, you could have gave those hours to employees if they were available. And on the flip side to that, you have employees working that you're paying, but they aren't doing any work. You have duplicate work that's being done, which means, let's just say you have someone documenting and going through all of the merchandise. Then you turn around and you have the same person or another person do the same thing. Inventory count. No, you don't have to pay for duplicate work. Documents. Why are your documents lost? Why are we not keeping our documents in binders? Why are we not keeping our documents in folders and storing them? Or, due to our world that we live in today, why are we not scanning them in and saving them in folders? And the backup to that is, although you're doing that, you could also turn around and email that to yourself. And now you're for sure have a copy of those documents. Now, what happens when you have delayed customer responses? Why are the responses delayed? Are we not doing follow-up calls? Are we not doing follow-up emails or text messages? Whatever the method of communication is, why are we not following up? Missed tax deductions. Again, you could sit and have that conversation with someone and you're listening to them. So now you're assuming that your tax situation is going to be the same as their tax situation without consulting with anyone. So now you're in a different category. So say the person you're talking to is in construction and you're in cosmetology, your deductions are going to be different. So you're not going to have the same write-offs. So it's best to sit and plan that out and talk to someone. Increase operational costs. Your cost is going to increase, especially if you're not paying attention to what's coming in and what's going out. Now, the reason that this matters is for a business. And again, you're the employee. Do you really want to go to work and it's dysfunctional and disorganized? Do you really want to go to work and your pay is messed up every time the payroll comes around? So this matters, especially for the business, because if there are inefficiencies, right, the productivity increases more expenses. It slows down the growth. You got problems because the money that you're making, you're spending that money fixing issues that you don't have to fix if you had your documents and everything pertaining to the organization filed how it's supposed to be filed. This organization also creates stress. It creates fatigue, and it creates fatal decision making. So now you're making decisions that's going to ultimately cost you because of the way that you're feeling. You're in an uproar, and there's no need to be like that. And so I know you're saying, well, what do you mean, Shavonna? That doesn't make sense. Now, I don't know about you, but if my money not right, my mind not right, I can't focus. So you could come ask me, hey, look, they out there robbing the bank and they said we need to leave. And I'm going to say, okay, my mind ain't there. My mind is on, why do I not see the fruits of my labor? Why am I wasting so much money? Why am I not profitable? And you can take these same questions and utilize them on you personally. Why does my funds look like this? What are we spending money on? Is it endless subscription? Is it spending with emotions? Is it not planning strategically? Are we not budgeting how we're supposed to be budgeting? Are we living with the Joneses and we can't even afford to live with the Joneses? And that's something that we have to think about. So imagine spending like a half hour a day and you're a business owner and you're searching for receipts, you're searching for invoices, you're searching for all this information, right? And now it's tax time and you need to turn this stuff in. You done spent more than 120 hours on looking for documents when your documents could have already been put up. You done wasted 120 hours of pay. Period. That's a waste of time and of money. You don't have to do that. Not at all. Not on the business side, nor on the personal side. Let's talk about business systems improvement. And even if you work, you know if something is not going on right with the company because you pay attention. And what do I mean by that? When it comes to the business systems, they are repeatable processes that keep the company functioning. So if you have a program that you use for your company and that main program is not working, how are you able to do your job effectively? You can't, because that main system you use is not working. That's why So you need to spend the money to either get a better system or be able to keep up with the maintenance and the updates and the improvements on it, so you don't have to lose revenue for that. Examples of this system can be a client management system. It could be accounting software. It could be project management tools. It could be your digital documents. It could be scheduling appointment, payment processing, communication workflows. All of this is important when you're working in business. You could even use these same applications for you personally. You may not use QuickBooks, or you may not use Zero. You may use Excel, or you may be old school and pull out a sheet of paper and a pencil. Either way, you're trying to balance and reconcile your monthly expenses. How are your expenses outweighing your pay? Why don't you see the fruits of your labor? So those same applications apply to you personally. And again, this matters because if you have systems placed how they're supposed to be placed, there's no mistakes like that, because you can catch them. It improves your consistency and it makes your daily operations go smoother. You can manage it because you have the proper systems in play. The same goes with you personally. Look, I know if I set this up on automatic withdrawal, it's going to come out every month on the 17th. I need to have this money in there. If not, I'm going to get a late fee. Now, what I tell myself is that, used to $34 ain't nothing. Now I tell myself, do you know that they get $34 per each transaction? Do you know that if I got two $34, that's $68 that I done gave them? That's 68 good dollars. That's a good cake. That's some nice ice cream. I'm not giving these people my money. No. So sometimes you got to psych yourself out to get away from them fees, because we'll get caught up into, we'll pay that back. We just need it. No, stop giving people your money, because that's how they stay in business. Your NSF fees is what keep them in business. That's the gem for today. I bet you didn't know that. Now, topic 3 for the business improvements would be bookkeeping cleanup automation. Oh my God, let's talk about that. You have so many receipts. You're so disorganized. You come to your accountant or your preparer with garbage bags or totes full of receipts, and now we go through this, and now we have to try to find all of your receipts. We have to make sense of it, because if it doesn't make sense to us, it's not going to make sense to the reporting entities. And so we're not going to get you caught up. And so what that means is we need to have whatever you're doing with your business. If you're using a credit card, if you're using more than one bank account, everything needs to be linked to the software. The transactions have to match up. You have to be able to see those invoices. You have to be able to track those expenses. Guess what? We can create all of your financial reports. You get the profit and loss statement, you get the balance sheet, you get the retained earnings statement, you get the cash flow statement. And therefore, you know how your money looks. Why does this matter? Because clean books provide accurate financial information. It can also simplify your tax preparation. You know why? Because we took into account everything you've given us. We've put it all together. We've automated it. We check it regularly. So now all we need is your financial statements to get you moving on and saving. So it makes the process easier. It's more cleaner. It's more neater. That's important. And again, if you go for any type of anything, whether it's a loan, whether it's buying a piece of property, buying a house, and this is not exempt from just individuals. Like, they ask you for tax returns. They ask you for financial statements. If you have a business that's connected to you, they ask you for certain documents. Your documents speak for you, because again, you're not in the room. So the next topic about this would be organized systems and how they simplify the tax season. And this is so important because everything is structured. When your records are organized throughout the year, that makes tax preparation a breeze. Like, you don't know when you come to us and you are, I don't care if you're 40% ready, that takes away 40% of what we have to do. But when you know where stuff is at, or if you're being contacted and we're asking for certain documents and you can provide those documents, it feels like magic. Yes, it feels so great. Now, a lot of things that people don't incorporate is a compliance reminder. And what the compliance reminder is, it's keeping complete and accurate records as you go on day to day. It's like a checklist. You making sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So at the end of the month, if that checklist is complete, you move on to the next month. When you get to month 12, your accountant, tax preparer, they have everything they need from you, and whatever is missing, they can go back to that checklist, or they can refer back to their own notes and say, hey, this is what I'm missing. This is what I need to assist you with. Now, the important fact that I want to leave you with the systems, efficient systems, is that businesses that document their processes, businesses that maintain well-organized financial records, they stand a greater chance of staying in operation because they're able to plan better. They're able to think better. They're able to make better decisions because they're not fatigued or stressed out. They're not worried per se because they've crossed their T's and dotted their I's throughout the year. And so that's what makes that so special. Now, let's talk about the people and the payroll, right? Now, I look at this like, how can I say this? Okay, so as an employee, right? And I was an employee, right? Like, we trust the employers to pay us, right? Like, they don't prepay us. They don't say, let me prepay you for 80 hours. No, it's the other way around. You come work these 80 hours and then we'll pay you. And so we're trusting that when we go to work, they're going to give us a check, right? But payroll isn't that simple. Issuing a paycheck is not. There's responsibilities. There's so much that goes behind that you are so unaware of. And some of it relies on you, because if you don't have the accurate and updated information, we can only process what we see. So that may result into a misspelled name, an incorrect address, the wrong filing status. Your hours could be short. Your hourly wage could be lower than what it's supposed to be, or higher. So you definitely want to make sure you're looking at all of that, because that is important. Again, payroll accuracy means employee, they're going to love to work for you because the payroll is accurate. The wages are correct. The withholdings are correct. The payments that they're supposed to get is correct. The end of the year tax forms are correct. Why? Because they trust the process. They trust the foundation. And this matters especially for businesses, because anything that you're doing, you also have to report this to the federal and state entities. So you need to ensure that what you're doing is accurate. And I'm sure that you are. But this is the importance of it. Accurate payroll reduces a lot of disputes. No angry people saying, my money is messed up. Why this? Why that? This reminds me of the animated movie Sing, when all the people that worked on the show was at Mr. Moon's door because their check was wrong or bounced. Yes. Now, for employees, again, we depend on our money. For whatever reason it is, we don't have to tell you. If we came to work and did the job, at the end of the time we're supposed to get paid, pay me my money. I don't want no excuses. Because, see, I can't take those excuses to the light and the gas company. So you have to pay me. And when you have a good foundation, you're going to have a good staff that comes to work. When it comes to your payroll requirements as a business, again, as I mentioned, you will have to report this to the federal and state entities. There's forms that you have to report, like your 940s, your 941s, your 944s, whatever state you're in, the state forms, the unemployment forms. This all has to be reported in. The deductions have to be correct. The filing period have to be correct. You also have to know, and a lot of people, they don't know, sadly to say, but you have to know if you're on a calendar year or a fiscal year. That is so very important. Maintaining your payroll records is a job in itself, but it will help you so much in the end. Listen, especially if you're paying payroll tax deductions, and if you are sending your employees a W-2 at the end of the year, trust me, you're matching their Social Security and Medicare. What you don't want to do is underpay. You can overpay because, yes, they'll give you a credit, but don't underpay, because if you underpay now and they find out, now you're going to be paying interest and penalties on that money because it's late. So no, make these appointments. Get with your accountant or your tax preparer. Know that when you're dealing with payroll and payroll management, it is best. And I say this, but after I'm done with payroll and I'm running it through the automation, it's just something about me and my spirit. I always need to go back and check the calculations. If the calculations are not right, I need to know why. Because what we don't want is, you've explained the process to the customer. The customer then went and changed their W-4s and their, let's say, ILW-4s. They're coming to file their taxes and they still owe money. It's like, what? I did exactly what you told me to do. You don't want them problems. Wire break. Again, you don't want to play with anyone's money because you don't want nobody playing with your money. And you want your systems to do the tax withholdings, the direct deposits, the time tracking, the payroll reporting. But you also want to be able to go back and revisit that and ensure that that information is accurate. Remember that a lot of times automation improves consistency. Still double check though, because we're human. We make mistakes. And sometimes when we're programming stuff or setting it up for auto, we may make a mistake. What if we did something on that tired day and we just didn't want to stop? We took the last little bit of that we had and tried to keep going, but in doing so, we made a mistake. So it takes nothing to go back and double check your work. When it comes to hiring, oh, that's a horse of itself. Like, hiring and onboarding system is very much different. That process looks different. Do you have the documents available? Do you have the applications, the intake form? Do you have the job responsibility role available for these people? Do you have the tax forms available? Do you have someone coming on saying, okay, we're going to talk to you about the back end, which is your paycheck. Let's talk about how to fill out these documents. What do these documents mean for you? And how does this look on your tax return? That's something that you have to ask yourself. And if you don't offer that training at work, then of course the individual has to go and do their research or talk to their accountant or tax preparer. Now, this also matters because If your onboarding process structure has no hiccups, new employees will be ready and prepared to start because you're on your start game. So this is just going to encourage them even more. What I want you to take away from the payroll aspect of our show today is that payroll mistakes can affect the way people work with you and how they trust you. I know if you make a mistake with my money, you got one time. But if it's multiple mistakes, yeah, it's time to go. I'd rather go make less than to sit here and make what I'm supposed to make and have more reasons that I'm in debt than for me to make less, have a peace of mind, and be in debt. It's a big difference, trust me. Now, regular reviews is something that as business owners we need to implement, whether you're doing it quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. But we need to get a better gist on that so we'll know just how much we're supposed to have when it's time for us to file our tax returns. Now, moving on. With everything we talked about, right? We now have to put this all together. We now have to make all of this make sense, right? Because we want our company to operate effectively, efficiently. So listen, you can't improve what you can't measure. Successful businesses don't guess. They evaluate, adjust, and improve. So remember I said you got that thought, but now you're just moving on it. You haven't brainstormed on it. You don't have nothing to go back and look at and rely on. So you have to have a foundation. You have to play with this. Now, with that comes your cash flow optimization. You need that. Now, let's take it a step further, right? When we think about your cash flow, it's the moment that the money is coming in and out of your business. You see it coming in, you also see it going out. And it's like, wait a minute, it didn't stay that long. But it's okay. Positive cash flow allows you to have a successful and structured payroll system because you don't have any complaints with people saying they didn't get their pay. You can cover all of your operating expenses because they're set up on automation. You don't have to worry about going in there to make those payments. You could invest in your business growth. You could build reserves, and you can. And you can respond to unexpected challenges. And your business will face challenges. Everything is not hunky-dory. Everything is not daffodils, lilies, and roses. It's gonna rain, but you gotta know how to put that together. You gotta know how to operate and move. I want you to think about it like this, right? Efficiency when you're coaching. Let's just say you have a coach, right? Your coach is going to be there to identify and improve your opportunities, your weaknesses, and your threats. They're going to make the most out of the time that you provide for them. Now, if they can do it, I know that we as entrepreneurs can do it. Now, let's continue to build on the cash flow. And how we build on the cash flow is we're building a business operational and workflow consultants. And why are we doing that? Because we want to have our business foundation up to par, because that's our front end. We want everything to be able to fall how it may lay. So if you're not at work, I'm not at work, they're not at work, whoever comes in, it won't be a ruckus because they're able to pick up the pieces and follow along. They know what's going on without even having to contact you, because not only do you have that playbook, but there are processes that are in order. So you have your daily operations, You have your team responsibilities. You have your communication processes. You have your client experiences. You have your technology usage, and you have opportunities to evaluate. And that's evaluate everything that you're doing in your company. And every topic that I just named goes hand in hand with what you probably already do. Now you just have to make an outline of that topic and break it down and break it out. And you will see the bigger picture. You will see that you need all of that, plus some, to have a good running, successful entity. Now, the goal is to create a smoother and a more productive business, not to make it hectic. Not at all. You also want to review your performance metrics. You want to see, are you increasing? Are you decreasing? Or are you plateauing? What could you do better? How could you do it better? Look at the algorithms. That's going to tell you what you need. And if you're unable to identify that, give me a call. We can put you in tune with our person that handles our social media. But again, the dashboard is going to be including everything that you use on a day-to-day basis, which is going to be all your revenue, all your expenses, all your profit margins, all your cash flows, all your client growth, all of your payment costs, all of your productivity productivity reads, right? Because you're going to be trying to find out, what is this person doing? What is that person doing? That's going to be a part of your SWOT analysis. And that last T that they added for trends, you're going to need to know what's trending in the area by you, maybe within a 50-mile radius. So that's important for you to know. Now, once you start tracking all of your metrics regularly, you will see if you're plateauing, you will see if you're going up, and you will see if you're going down. And at some point, you're going to be able to say, look, I like this, but maybe this is not for me right now. I'm going to put this on the back burner, and I'm going to start with this because this even looks like it's getting a lot of views and a lot of hits. So let me continue with that. And that's not getting rid of it or putting it on the back burner. That's making those necessary adjustments. Now, let's come a step forward now. You see how we breaking all this payroll down and the back issues? Let's talk about the reporting and the audits. These need to be done regularly. What I mean by regularly, I mean done monthly if you're doing a payroll. Because what you don't want to do is over or understate any amount of payroll. You don't want to issue out the wrong documents at the end of the year. And sometimes it's a bit challenging to go back and fix that because we were moving too fast. We have to slow down, okay? Now, my takeaway for payroll and this business process is that to monitor your finances, people, you work hard every day. This was a goal for you. This was a dream for you. Like, don't just settle for any willy-nilly. Don't do that. It's not necessary. It's not. Like, no, you done put so much into it. And again, some of this may very well be out of your league, and that's okay. So if it's out of your league, this is where you need to consult with your accountant or your tax preparer and say, hey, look, I'm listening to this podcast. It sounds great. Can you give me some feedback on it? And if what this person is saying, are you able to do all this? And they can say yay or nay. If they say nay, you're more than welcome to come over here. Are we here to step on anyone's shoes or toes? Absolutely not. But we do believe in educating. We do. We believe in giving you the foundation because the more you know about your finances, the better equipped you are to talk about your finances and handle them civilly. Yes. I'm having problems with my pronunciation today. Excuse me. Don't know why. I guess I'm excited because like it feels so great to be here again, back to back. But then I'm not gonna be here next week. Oh, my feelings is hurt. Oh. But still, now I've put together a business challenge for not just the business owners, but just you personally. And again, you can take all of this material and make it personal for you. You can. And you could reap the benefits of that. So, first things first, every week, I want you to set aside 45 minutes a week. 45 minutes. I want you to set aside 45 minutes. And what I want you to do is I want you to evaluate how can you improve your business. You know what's going on. You don't have to look at any documents. You don't have to talk to anybody. Just sit in that quiet space and allow yourself to meditate and think on, like, man, what am I really doing? Am I doing this right? Am I being wasteful? Am I spending because it's there? Like, get in tune with yourself when it comes to your finances, because again, this is your livelihood. And then once you do that, I got some questions. I got some nice questions for you. I want you to ask yourself one. I'm going to read them. What task take more time than it should? Is there a process I can repeat manually that could be automated? Something to think about, isn't it? Are my bookkeeping and payroll records accurate? Let's just say you don't even have payroll, but you have bookkeeping. You still want to know if those figures are accurate. You still need to know. So you have to ask yourself that. Then ask yourself, if a tax deadline or payroll audit happened next month, meaning September 1st, will my records be organized and complete? What is one system I can improve before the end of the quarter? I want you to ask yourselves them questions, and I'll repeat them for you. What task takes more time than it should? Is there a process I can repeat manually that could be automated? Are my bookkeeping and payroll records current? If a tax deadline or property audit happened next month, meaning September 1st, would my records be organized and completed? What is one system I can improve by the end of this quarter? I want you to sit back and I want you to think about that. And I want you to analyze that. And this is not to beat yourself up, but there's always room for improvement. I don't care where you are, who you are. You are never too old to learn and incorporate something new, especially if it's going to help you. So, what I want you to do is write down one improvement you will make and commit to implementing it within the next 30 days. Water break. Sorry. But yes, just do that for the next 30 days. Write down one improvement. And then go over those questions that I asked you. Talk about those questions to yourself. Write them down. How does that look to you? How does it look? What is it saying to you? Can you adjust? Can you try to recenter, reset, and refocus what your business is supposed to be on? You know why? Because that's important. That is really, really important. And then I want you to remember that as you're making these adjustments and improvements, remember that small improvements Once you do them consistently, they lead to significant and effective gains. That's a win all by itself. I don't care what you say. That's a win in itself. And that's something to look forward to, again, especially if you are a business owner. So listen, people, listen. As our show comes to a close today, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Now, thank y'all for coming back to tune in. I know it's a lot of information. I know it could be a bit like, whatever, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But you'd be surprised how just this information that we're providing can be able to assist you. I wish that this was being taught in the schools more regularly. But remember that lasting business success isn't built on just a hustle. I don't care if you work 19 hours a day, you're going to need more than that hustle. Period. It's built on people that we trust. It's built on your payroll that you can depend on and those smart systems. Because if you put all of that together, that helps you. Now, when your operations are organized, when your bookkeeping is accurate, when your payroll is accurate and you're in compliance and you're balancing, your workflows are more intentional. They're more lasting. They're more satisfying. What you're doing is you're creating a business that's not only prepared for you, but it's prepared for the people that you're working with because they see you moving. You'd be surprised how many people could come in and look at what you're doing and look at your process and be thinking like, man, she together. I like her process without even telling you anything. It's unknowingly because they're paying attention to you. Don't worry about the challenges, okay? Because they're going to come. Focus on trying to improve and adjust because that's what's important. Your hustle is going to always be there. Don't try to kill yourself before you get there. Listen, as you continue to move forward, take a closer look at how you've moved from when you started to where you are now. Look at the changes that you made in between time. Look at how you were able to navigate more effectively now than when you did when you first started because you done started implementing new processes and new procedures. Take this seriously, people, because your business is your child and you don't want no headaches, you don't want no stress, you don't want your mind all over the place. Look, I am Shavana, the Allure of Abundance, your host on Let's Talk Finance podcast. We are on all social media platforms under Anointed Accounting, which is ANOINTED ACCOUNTING. Our website is www.anointedanointing.com. Our telephone number is area code 312-837-7219. Our social media platforms is Anointed Accounting, ANOINTEDACCOUNTING. Please follow our pages. We leave so much information there. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go on over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have so much information there. I want to take this time to thank everybody for coming out and spending your day with me. Whether you're doing it now or you're coming back later to listen to it, just know that we appreciate you. We love you. We're here to help you. This is a judgment-free zone. But what we're going to do is we're going to get our ducks in a row. We're not going to get left behind. We're not going to be having conversations that's not going to help improve what our purpose is, and that's not aligning up with us, because we got a goal in mind, people. And I want you to keep that focus. Until I see you September 5th, I want you to share this content, love, like, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. And until next time, I want you to keep walking in grace and in mercy and with a purpose. Deuces.